Soyinka has raised concerns over what he described as an excessive security escort for Tinubu, son of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, according to the Nobel laureate, the convoy witnessed at a hotel in Ikoyi resembled a military battalion rather than a security detail for a private citizen. Soyinka reportedly contacted the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, to confirm whether such protection was appropriate. He argues that children of public office holders should not automatically inherit state security apparatus, warning that the deployment of armed personnel to protect the privileged diverts resources from citizens facing genuine security threats. Let's take a look.
Tinubu didn't have to send the Air Force and the military to deal with this particular insurrection, this threat to our own sense of security and equilibrium. No, there are easier ways of doing it. Let me tell you where Tinubu should have looked for forces to quell that insurrection. Right here in Lagos, right here, or in Abuja perhaps, I don't know. But there was no need to call the military or the Air Force. I'll tell you what happened. On one of my home visits, this about 2 months ago, I was coming out of a hotel and I saw what looked like a film set. And I said, oh, they're shooting a film. That was on the grounds of this hotel. And a young man detached himself from the actors, came over and greeted me, very polite, very nice young man. And I said, are you shooting somebody? I said, I'm just joking. Are you shooting a film? He said, no. And I looked around. There was nearly a whole battalion occupying that, the grounds of that hotel, in Ikoyi, right here. So I got back in my car and I asked the driver who that young man was. And he told me. And I saw this SWAT team, a mixture. They were at least heavily armed, at least some 15 or so heavily armed to the teeth security personnel. Looked sufficient to take over a small country, neighboring city like Benin. And I think the next time the president should just call and say, Sheyi, go and quell the rebellion over there. I was so astonished that I started looking for the National Security Advisor. I said, track him down for me. I think they got him somewhere in Paris, but I was with the president. He was at a meeting. And I said, I've just seen something I can't believe, I don't understand. And I described the scene to him. I said, do you mean that a child of the head of state goes around with an army for his protection or whatever? I couldn't believe it. Later on, I did some investigative journalism. And I inquired, and I found that apparently this is how this young man goes around with his battalion, his heavy armed soldiers. Of course, the road was cleared before his car went out. I stayed until it seemed he was leaving. So next time there's an insurrection, I think the president should just call that young man and say, go and put down those stupid people there. You have enough troops under your command, so don't bother me with all these security issues any longer. Let's not overdo things. This is not the first country that has a head of state. It's not the first country whose head of state has families. And I think children should know their place. They are not potentates. They are not heads of state. And the security architecture of a nation like this suffers some injury and alienation when we see such
Well, children indeed should know their place. Now, good afternoon. Before we have more conversations, good afternoon to you viewers. The show is Aside Hot, and in the studio I have my co-host Sharon named Chuku and Genevieve KK, our guest for this afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Story that we have this afternoon. Now, we saw the video where Wole Soyinka was criticizing the battalions that accompanied or escorted the president. How is it that Tinubu was able to have, this amount of security, escorting him, even when ordinary citizens don't have even one single security, guarding them or protecting them? I'll start with you, Sharon.
Because he's the president's son, isn't he, right? So I feel like right now, when we're talking about dynasties and political dynasties, one of the interesting administrations that we've seen is the Tinubu-led administration, where his family members, because they have their father in power, they just forgot that you have to be elected before you're just days back, we are seeing Remi Tinubu, the wife of the president, coming to tell a sitting and elected governor how to say his speech and when to round off his speech, just because they have this understanding that their father is in power and they have the right to do that. So yes, I think I really, in a long while now, I've not really resonated with much that Wole Soyinka has said publicly in the media. But you see this one, I love it. I think truly, when we are talking about withdrawing troops, the other day today we are seeing that, some senators are crying, saying that they don't want their troops to be withdrawn, they will be made easy targets. So yes, I think that if they're withdrawing 100,000 police officers, they should also look at Tinubu, who is not elected, not been elected for any position. Just being a biological child of the president does not give you the right to our police escort and all.
Now, I'm still talking about the right of someone that is not actually officially elected into any government position, guarding or rather protecting him. Genevieve, would you say that this is rather an abuse of power?
Of course, it's an abuse of power. I mean, SWAT system and all that, that is a heavily guarded security system. So if the citizens cannot get that, and especially when he's not on power, he's equally a citizen. So he should be acting and be treated as one. Just like Sharon said, the fact that his father is in the political seat, is the president of the country, does not warrant him to have such ambiguous numbers and large numbers of security personnel when we are trying to figure out insecurity in this country. And it's a very good thing that they are trying to, reduce the numbers of security personnel for the political people. They should also look at, the
shades.
Yes, exactly. They should reduce it so that they can feel the fear and the pain that we, the citizens, are feeling.
All right. Now, talking about feeling the pains and fear that citizens witness every single day or feel every single day, let's talk about citizens seeing that particular video or seeing Wole Soyinka criticizing such acts. What do you think, or what is the reaction from a normal or ordinary citizens, especially those people that have witnessed these abductions and a lot of attacks in their communities? What do you think will be their thoughts at this point?
I think they would feel it's righteous. It's something that has been long coming, something that they've been expecting, although we've not really seen it play out. But I think with the order that we are seeing and the fact that a lot of these politicians are coming out to cry against it, there is possibility that maybe behind the scenes they have started really seen that when you go out, you know, it's December again, so when you step out, you don't even need to go to any event. You'll just be hearing sirens everywhere and a convoy, so you know that there is a VIP and there are still police escorts. So it has not really been carried out completely, but for the average Nigerian that would hear this, of course we're all going to be on the side of Wole Soyinka for this. Let these VIPs feel the pulse of Nigerians for once.
All right, now coming to you finally on this topic, do you think that this particular preferential treatment is worsening inequality and resentment among citizens? We are talking about citizens now, like their reactions. Do you think that they will, you know, perceive it otherwise?
Of course, just to add, I want to add to what Sharon said. Yes, we would feel okay, we would feel like it's a righteous act, but it's a delayed righteous act. These things are something that are supposed to be inculcated for a very long time. So me as a citizen, I will speak as a citizen, seeing this news, it doesn't gladden my heart because it's something that came up late. It's something that you're supposed to have been doing. And it's not that we are saying that they are VIPs. Yes, of course. I mean, hierarchy. You're supposed to have something special. But we are not saying that they shouldn't have security pressure. We are saying that there should be a certain amount to it because it's too exorbitant. It's too big. I mean, so me as a citizen, I would say that it is bringing resentment, one, and two, it has been long overdue. They should actually implement it. That is what I want to see, implementation.
All right, implementation of the troops that I believe the president one time said he was going to withdraw from all the VIPs. I don't know if the son was not among the VIP that he mentioned. Now, to every citizen that is watching or listening to Wole Soyinka's statement, they would feel sidelined. They would feel like their lives do not actually matter, that it's only the VIP's life that matter, which for me doesn't really, you know, it's not really cool and doesn't cut it. But let's move over to the next story. Now, an Enugu state government has announced that tricycles and minibuses will no longer operate on 5 major roads as the bus rapid transit system begins operation. The affected routes include Opara Avenue, Abakaliki Road, New Haven Junction, Emene Airport, Uviri Road, and Abwani Road. Only BRT buses and licensed taxis will be allowed on these corridors. Authorities say the move is aimed at improving traffic flow, ensuring safety on high-speed roads, and modernizing urban transport. BRT buses equipped with air conditioning and digital fare system will handle primary transport, while tricycles will focus on last-mile connectivity. However, stakeholders warn the ban could affect the livelihoods of thousands of drivers and raise accessibility challenges for commuters relying on tricycles and minibuses for point-to-point transport. Now, this particular new development, even though most of the times, I mean, in the headlines, we've seen the governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, make big moves. The other time we saw electricity, the other time we saw road and the rest of them, and we were really, you know, giving him some accolades. But this new particular one has gathered a lot of reactions. I mean, a lot of people kind of depend fully on these tricycles, on this keke na pepe as they call it, to survive. Now imagine that being reduced or being cut short. What do you think will be the reactions of citizens that are relying on this for their daily income, Sharon?
I don't know how they want to go about that. I wish we can get a full detail on how long it is going to take for implementation, because especially for something that has been existing for so long, that has been a means of income for a lot of Nigerians, taking it out immediately, it's not, I don't think it's wise, right? It has to be a gradual process. I know that in Lagos they've been trying for decades to stop bikes and the use of Okadas for transportation in Lagos. But yes, there are some places that now they don't use bikes and Okadas and all of that, but it has not been successful. And the reason is not that most people that even ply bikes or Okada, it's not because they love it, it's because it's cheap, and a lot of people use that, right, because they are trying to survive. So if the government is coming up with, okay, if the Enugu state government wants to really flush out all of this from its main highway. Maybe it doesn't fit the aesthetic of small China that they're trying to go for, or whatever the case may be. Let there be more job opportunities that they are providing. Let us hear that, oh, 1,000 jobs have been provided, this, that, and it's a choice, because the keke, nobody likes to suffer, right? Nobody really wants to go through suffering and all of that. So if they want to do that, they should give an amount of time, right, so that people can, you know, get accustomed to the new rule that they're trying to bring, and then bring an alternative source of income for them.
All right. Now, according to the governor of Enugu State, this is more like a digitalized or modernized way of transporting. And he said, according to him, that they will be using this Easy Fare card, EJ card, for the payment. So you don't have to use POS, you don't have to use cash transactions, that you just need to make use of the card. And I'm just going to ask Genevieve, do you think that this will be welcomed, or do you think that welcomed by the citizens of Enugu State? Do you think that there will be high level of compliance, or do you think that people are going to protest against it?
It's not about it being welcomed. It's about the government managing it. How long will they be able to manage and maintain such things? It's very easy for our government to come up with new beautiful ideas. I must commend, it's a beautiful idea. I mean, when you watch foreign movies, you see how their transportation system is. It's amazing. But just like Sharon said, just to add to it, you're coming to scrap out people's source of living. What is the alternative for them? So you want us to be using cards. How do you plan on maintaining it? How do you plan on making it to be secured, reliable? It's not going to cause frustration. It's a lot of things. So I believe that the government should calm down and check things out before they start creating out new investment or new projects. Look into it, look at the risks before, the long-term risks, the short-term risks, before coming out to give out new verdict. But it's nice, and I believe that if they plan it well, we the citizens will work with it, because nobody wants to suffer. Everybody wants soft life.
All right, I think I get exactly what you're trying to say. The government of Enugu State should, you know, weigh the SWOT. There should be SWOT analysis on how they, you know, plan on implementing this. If this will really be a long time something that would better the lives of people in Enugu State, creating more jobs and the rest of them, or will it be, you know, a short time achievement? And then are the people ready to welcome such development? And just like I said earlier, will it create more job, and will they sensitize people on how well to, you know, carry out or use the fare card or whatever that they are using for the new transport system? But let's move over to the next story. Now, the federal government has reassured Nigerians that upcoming tax reforms will be effective January 2027, and is designed to reduce rather than increase the burden on citizens. The reforms include over 50 exemptions and reliefs targeting low-income earners, middle-class workers, and small businesses. Individuals earning below 800,000 naira annually are expected to benefit from personal income tax exemptions, while small, medium-sized enterprises will enjoy reduced levies and simplified compliance process. Now, officials say the reforms aim to unify Nigeria's tax system, improve compliance, and ensure fairness, with wealthier individuals and larger corporations contributing proportionately more. Critics, however, warn of challenges in implementation, particularly for informal sector operators and small businesses who may struggle with digital tax system or record-keeping requirements. Economics notes that the success will depend on effective communication, transparency, and accessible support to ensure the reforms ease financial burdens as intended. Now, we know we've been talking about tax every single time. We've seen citizens come out on social media to decry about the new tax that will be implemented by 2026, and now the federal government have gone ahead to tell you that we shouldn't be kind of anxious of this new tax that is meant to reduce our pain rather than increasing it, that so long as you are a small business owner or you earn below 800,000 naira, that you will be exempted from this new tax reform. Let me get your reaction. Do you think that is possible, Sharon?
I really thought you would start with me, but
okay, let me start with you then. Let me start with you.
God. How many, you know, your government is really good at packaging
my government.
things. Yes, because I don't know at this point if I'm part of this government stuff. How many times, like, the government is really good at packaging things. They package things, they are good at presentation. I must applaud them for that. Because how many things have this administration, this current administration, come out to say? We hear of subsidy. What was the benefit that we got from it? We heard that subsidy is going to do this, do that, do that. What did it? What result? Nothing. And they are coming to, okay, so they are trying to tell me that, oh, I should not earn more than 800,000 naira. I should be earning below that so that I can be aside of that. I don't understand. I really don't understand. The government should please calm down with all these things. Try and look into what you're saying. At the end of the day, my honest take is I don't believe what they're saying. Today is 2026 in few time. How many days to go? We would see. We would actually see, because at the end of the day, their target is the low income earners. Those are the people that they are targeting more in this tax. So I don't believe what they are saying.
Okay, now Sharon, coming to you, do you think this will actually reduce the anxieties of Nigerians as regards the new income tax implementation by 2026?
To an extent, I think, because what I saw was in the news where people coming out to complain that, oh, is it from this pepper that I'm selling that I'm going to use to pay tax? And I don't know how much pepper sellers earn. And if they earn below 800K, if I'm not mistaken, or 1.2 million naira, then they are exempted from tax. So I think that there is a caveat to that on the positive side for people that do not have a big scale or large scale business, people that are petty traders. So that's one now. But let's also talk about small scale businesses that are doing well, but maybe not too well, who have staff, they have people they pay, they have a small business that they are running. I don't think it's going to affect those group of people, and it won't encourage SMEs, right? Because that is what we want to see. That is what will build our economy to what it should be. So I just think that there are two sides to it. There are people that definitely won't be affected by this, but the question is, if we're talking about building our economy and growing the economy, for how long? If you're taking tax from people like the Westerners are doing, you need to go there and see what they're using their tax money to do. They're not using their tax money to get private jets, to send their kids to the best universities. They're not using their tax to take themselves on hospital trips, just to transfer blood and all of that. They are really putting it back for their citizens. So I just think that I'm going to expect so much now from the government, now that they have done this, right? What are the things that we're going to see change for the lives of citizens?
When the new, the subsidy didn't change anything. I wonder if it's going to change this time. But let's talk about the timing. Do you think now that the timing is quite appropriate, considering how the current state of the economic hardship in Nigeria? Do you think the timing is appropriate?
Nothing in Nigeria is always appropriate. Like, it's always underplanned. They just come out whenever it's at their own, or whenever they think, oh, I'm thinking of how to do some extraction from these citizens. Let's come out. They'll just pop out and give us. It's wrong timing. I mean, it's wrong timing. Very soon, this current administration will end, and it's preparing for the new administration. These are all wrong timing, but they, in their own eyes, they have a target. They have an ambition. So, of course, to them, it's right timing. But to the citizens, I don't think this is the time to start implementing. When do we want to start growing the economy? When do we want to start seeing the result of the tax? When even the subsidy that was done, it should be over a year now. There is no any effect. Instead, fuel is so overly expensive. So it's very big wrong time.
Now, this last question, I don't think, Sharon, you're the right person I should be directing this particular question to, but I don't know if you can just make an attempt on this. Now, a lot of Nigerians are already complaining of this new tax in 2026, and some of them are saying that this tax is targeted at low-income earners, not even, you know, the big fishes. We remember one time months ago where I think EFCC kind of filed a suit against Dino Milai that he evaded tax. And I'm just going to ask here, if this new tax will really be implemented by 2026, do you think that it will really the low income earners are really going to be exempted from this new development, or do you think is another long ride for low income earners?
I think it's the exact same thing I just answered. The fact that there are two parts to this situation. I remember saying that the people who earn below 800 or 1.2, people who are petty traders would be, you know, it would be a different story for them. They would be exempted. But I talked about small scale businesses as well. So yes, I do feel like if it is going to be implemented as they said it would, right? It's the same thing. People that earn below 800K would be left out. People that earn above that, now it's just going to, if the taxing becomes too much, that's why I said it would affect business and economy. We might see people taking their business out of Nigeria to other countries, and they will not be encouraging growth of SMEs.
It's not just that. It's not just that. Sorry. Right. People that earn below 800,000, yes, the tax will be favorable to them. Yeah. But they will still, one way or the other, be paying taxes by house rents will increase. Okay. Pepper, if there's pepper sellers, pepper will be very, very expensive. Way billing, they will still find a way to collect those money, and at the end of the day, they'll be paying tax. They'll still be paying tax.
You know, that was actually what I was, you know, hoping to maybe like extract, because I believe low income earners, even though they said if you're earning below 800,000 naira, that you will be exempted, but we know this present administration, we know our government, we know how they run their things. At the end of the day, you might still see those low income earners or people that are earning below 800,000 naira still being taxed at the end of the day. So but I hope we'll still see maybe positive result or positivity at the end of the day coming 2026. But now to a story that has now gone viral on social media. A man was seen lamenting bitterly on how his wife acquired loan from the bank, used his house as collateral without informing him. Now it appears the wife failed to repay the bank as at when due. Now the bank sent representatives to eject the man from his house. Let's take a look.
Live in my house. Yes, let the whole world see. I'm live in my house. Eh? No, now I am live in my house, and they said my wife collects loan from a property I don't know, and they send people to come and eject me. Oh God, I will die. That's not a problem. Let me know, don't talk to me too. I've told you. No, forget about me. So this is what is happening live in my house at Sagwari Layout. My wife said she collected the property, and then they came and they are throwing my things out without my. So yeah, this is what is happening live and direct in my house. So yeah, the whole world is watching. I don't have any details with anybody, court proceedings. Said my wife borrowed money, and the next thing they say she used my document as collateral. And then they are coming to eject me, throwing my things out from the house without my consent. This is what they are doing. My credentials are up. My documents are up. So this is the kitchen. They are moving my bed and everything out. Yes, the whole world should see.
Quite sad. Now, sometimes some people, Nigerians will say you marry your enemy or the weapon fashioned against you. What ruthlessness. Let me start with you, Sharon.
The man coming out to make a video now, trying to paint a picture as though it's the bank at fault. I don't think so. Where he should have that issue is with his household, right, with his wife. Because when I was watching that video, I was paying attention to see if the woman presented documents. And he said it there that she presented documents to the house, to the government, to the bank, right, to get a loan. Now, it is not the bank's business whether she consulted you. If that's another thing, if her name is listed as, you know, part of the owner of that property, she has the right to use it to require for loan. They got the documents. They got what they were supposed to get, which is the document. They verified that the property was existing and they offered her the loan. And now she has not been able to pay the money, which just says a whole lot about what is going on in that man's family, that the wife took a loan for maybe, I don't know, for whatever reason, but he's not aware, he's clearly not aware of it. And now they're coming to come and, you know, confiscate his properties, which is what banks do, right? So him coming out now to make a video, I understand the confusion, but I also think that that should be more focused at his wife, not the bank.
No, I think for me, before I come to you, Genevieve, a lot of Nigerians are actually reacting to this viral video now. People are saying that how is it that the wife was able to present the documents to this house, to the bank, without the husband, you know, knowing prior. And not just that I believe the wife is actually, the husband is a beneficiary to the bank. And if you are in cahoots, or rather both of you, your names are included in the documents, the husband's consent was supposed to, you know, be prioritized in the first place by the bank. So it may seem as though the bank didn't do, you know, due diligence to seek permission from the husband before loaning the wife. And I'm just going to come to you. Let me get your reaction on this story. And if truly the bank didn't do their due diligence, what do you think the man should do moving forward?
First off, if the house, the property was in the documents, the names there were both the husband and the wife, and the wife used it just like having a joint account, there is no way that the bank should, the man's signature or something is supposed to be there as the collateral. There is no way that they can just hand out that she can hand out that property without the man knowing. So the bank supposed to, so there's something the man supposed to also look at the bank, make sure he verifies if that is if the document has both their names on it, they are both beneficiaries, then he has to look at the bank and question the bank because they didn't do their job well. And if he's to do that, that will require him maybe suing the bank, but I don't think that's possible in Nigeria. I mean, he might find that difficult to do. But then also after doing that, he should go and take out the matter with his wife too.
All right. Now, apart from taking out the matter with his wife, just like what Sharon mentioned, that it exposes the kind of family that, I mean, he is brewing, or rather he lives in, or how, I don't know, the family. He kind of portrays how the family looks like. In the, you know, looking at it. And then I think for me, if I'm to say something here, I think if the bank didn't do their due diligence, he can actually sue the bank, for not doing due diligence, and the bank will have to pay for damages. But at the same time, we'll ask, is the judiciary really the hope or the last hope of a common man? That's a question we're going to ask now. Well, Sharon, coming to you, do you think that if truly his name or he's among the beneficiaries of this particular, you know, house, and he sues the bank for not doing due diligence, do you think that he will actually be given or granted justice by the court or by the law?
I think so, right? Even as much as our judiciary is already complicated right now as it is, but there has been, you know, cases where they've been able to give justice to people. It's just when it involves high profile cases and maybe that of politicians, or it has to do with the present administration, but there are some cases where they've been able to give out justice. So for this particular man, I really don't know what went wrong. If his name was listed, because he kept saying my house, right? And I know that I don't know where the house is situated, but they don't let women own properties, right? If you want to get a property, they would want to, if you want to get a land, they would want a man to be listed as the owner of that land. So it means that it should have been in the name of him and his wife. But there is also another thing that might have gone. They might have, of course, they'll give you a form. Then the form will be the signature for both the owners. The woman might have found a way to get the man to sign without him knowing what he was signing for. So that's another thing that could have gone down. But we still don't know what exactly happened and what the documents of that house state. So I think that is where we are having some gaps right now.
All right, so I think the man should go to court, just like they will, always tell you when there is anything concerning or something related to such. Now to our last story for the day. So yesterday, being December 9th, was the birthday of Senator Akpabio and Senator Natasha Uduaghan. As a rule in the House, the Senate House, the Senate President had to announce their birthdays so that the colleagues, that is the member of the House of the
distinguished senator. Any more years? This is signed by the President of the Senate.
I think that was quite, hilarious to see that Senator Natasha Uduaghan and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio is celebrating their birthday on the same day. These are the two people that had their squabbles last month ago. This is still the two people that are still, they have matters or they have pending issues in court, and they are still celebrating birthdays together. Is God not wonderful? Now, people in the comment section, somebody said, even me, myself, I burst into laughter. He was like, I was born the same month as Natasha. And somebody say he eyes go first blood. The first meaning. But let me get your reaction when you saw that
I didn't
video.
even expect it, because you could see the pause right there. He had to pause. Like, wait, let me check. Me and this young, this woman, we are bedmates. It's quite hilarious. I mean, I think they should just, maybe this could be a grooming for them to settle, come and make a war, or they should just continue the rivalry and be
all right, Sharon, let me get your reaction before I wrap up the show.
I feel Senator Natasha would not find that video funny.
Okay.
Because it's for her, it's a real issue, right?
Yeah.
It's as though when someone is making fun of your pain and making fun of what the things that you've come out to, just that are not comfortable with you, right? And you've come out to tell somebody, I don't like that you're doing this, but instead of acknowledging that, they go ahead and make mockery of that. And I think that's insensitive. So for grown adults, people's fathers, to be acting like that in the Senate, it just says a whole lot about their moral conduct. Laughing, this is not the first time they've done something like this. When she invited them as well for an event where she was marking her 2 years anniversary, and she invited them, right? There was a type of reaction as well in the House that day. Anytime her name comes up, they always find a way to either smirk or laugh or just chuckle, and it's as though they have singled her out now and they've made her into a laughing stock, which is not right. Definitely, I don't find it funny.
I think I'll just summarize everything you said with somebody's comment here, which is Amazon. She said, "Now so God go they use your enemies to announce your greatness." So I think maybe that should be a silver lining for Natasha Uduaghan. But I think this is where we are going going to call it a wrap on today's show as it hot right here on Active Citizens. If you're yet to like, comment, share, and subscribe, please do that right now. You can find us across all social media platforms at Active Citizens, and you can find me in my private page on Facebook at Orji Sophia and on Instagram at Miss Solex. You, Sharon?
You can find me across all social media at Sharon Enemchuku.
Genevieve?
You can always find me in the studio.
All right, till we see you in the evening for more conversations and more updates. Do have a lovely afternoon.